Welcome to Movie Film. It's episode 343. I'm Zaki Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zaki?
Hey, it's going. Obviously we struggle to find time to record, but occasionally the schedules line up and you might say, this is the way.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad that we were able to see it pretty quickly and get this out pretty quickly. So people who are excited and catching the movie this weekend will have this right away for them.
We're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu, of course. Mm-hmm. But you gotta hang in if you want to hear that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get to that discussion without hearing any ads, I would recommend subscribing to our Patreon feed, right, Brian?
Oh, yeah. Over at patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast. Only $5 a month. Every commentary we've done, every episode, you'll find ad-free over there. And you also find bonus episodes. And we just dropped one that was like about an hour long.
Yeah.
And I mean, we covered everything from Masters of the Universe, the upcoming film, its tracking, its toys. We talked about all the popcorn bucket phenomenon happening at movie theaters. And we even talked about the 2001 time capsule that is the movie Swordfish. So it was a packed episode and a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people would enjoy it. And you can find it exclusively over at our Patreon feed.
It was packed full of tomfoolery.
It really was.
In fact, there was so much buffoonery. Tommy Lee Jones would not sanction it.
Right. Yes.
It was a lot of that.
Yeah. As is his way.
This is good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, what have you seen lately?
I saw a couple things. I don't want to talk about them, but I had an observation recently that I thought I'd share that I thought you might appreciate. So I have a friend from a past job, and he is acquaintances with the band, the Afghan Wigs. Okay. They were probably most prominent in the 90s, but, they continue to tour, and I've seen them a couple times because my friend is able to bring me and we get free tickets and all that sort of thing. And so I saw them this past week, and then I also mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, I saw the movie Carrie at one of those outdoor screenings.
Yeah.
Right? And something occurred to me. The last time, at one of those outdoor screenings a couple of years ago, it was very cool. I saw Natalie Portman walking around. And I was like, oh, Natalie Portman, she's like a big star. That's kind of cool. She's like here at this event. And then the last time I saw the Afghan Wigs, I saw Heather Graham. I was like, Heather Graham, I've had a crush on her since I was a teenager, licensed to drive. Like, wow, that's amazing. So when I saw Carrie a couple of weekends ago, I saw this guy and I told my friends, I was like, hey, I follow that guy on Instagram. He's a comedian. He's really funny. His name's Luke Strickler. And everyone's like, who? And then when I went to the Afghan Wigs this past week, I saw this guy and I nudged my friend. I go, hey, that's this guy I follow on Instagram. His name's Jacob Givens. He's like a 90s music aficionado. He does good stuff. And he's like, huh? And I was like, isn't this fascinating? A couple of years ago, it was like all these like celebrities that you would like bump into or see or like, oh, I'm rubbing shoulders with these celebrities. And now I'm realizing that recently it's just been like influencers. Like I'm recognizing these influencers in the wild.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know that I've fully figured out what my thought about that is or my comedic take, but like, I just found it kind of interesting. It
tells me you're very online. That's what it tells me.
I suppose, or at least in my corners. That's the thing. These people didn't know who, like when I was, at that thing.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Natalie Portman, everyone's like, oh, wow. Like trying to get a picture of her, like from a distance and stuff. And funny enough, she was with Questlove. So they were hanging out together, which is like, that's wow. How about that? But this is like that real minutia, of your algorithm.
Yeah.
Like this real niche comedian who I do think is funny. His name's Luke Strickler. He has this, his video that had like millions of views that I think blew up was called I Love the Office, which I think our listeners might find funny. But anyway, I don't know. It's just kind of a funny, like, how about that? Like those are the people now that I'm seeing at these events, and it's exciting to me in a way, I guess, but it's harder to share with people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hilarious.
Didn't see Heather Graham this past week,
and that's a shame. I honestly didn't realize until you said it just now that she was in License to Drive.
Yeah, she's the Mercedes, the girl that Corey Haim has a crush on.
Yeah, I know the name of the character. I saw that movie in the early part of the 90s. That's probably the last time I saw it. So,
oh man, that I don't know how that became sort of like a Hall family classic. I think because we didn't have cable, so like we would take movies off of TV when they were on, and so we would revisit those a lot, even if I don't know, they weren't as big a deal to other people. Like I always bring up The Hard Way, that Michael J. Fox, James Woods movie, which for us was kind of like a Hall family classic because we had taped it off TV and watched it all the time. But yeah, I love License to Drive.
To me, Heather Graham will always be a girl who may be accidentally sleeping with her brother in that one movie.
That's the Farrelly Brothers movie, right?
I think so. Yeah, I forget. Say It Isn't So. I think that's. I'm just joking. I know her, of course, as Judy Robinson in Lost in Space.
I keep thinking you're going to say Austin Powers, but you keep going at other. Yeah, that too. Boogie Nights, of course. You know.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Anywho,
well, speaking of classic films of yesteryear, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I feel like Regal. I should be an influencer for Regal Cinemas because I talk about them so much. But each month they've been doing their special series where they program literally every single day. There's a movie that is part of a series that they throw that's themed each month, and this month is musicals. And so I saw Footloose for the first time. I've never seen it before.
The OG one.
Yeah, with Kevin Bacon and Singing in the Rain, which I had seen before. But like,
I love that movie.
Oh, it's so good. And seeing it on the big screen. And, you know, when you got the three of them dancing side by side in sync and just seeing it larger than life. And you just marvel at it. You know, it's really special. So if people can make it out to those, I highly recommend checking out their schedule and seeing. Yeah, I mean, and the movies are all over the place too. I mean, Singing in the Rain, and then one night it was like the Hairspray remake, and then I think Almost Famous last night, Blues Brothers next week. So it's definitely worth checking out. But okay, I'm gonna talk about three things. Two of them kind of quick. I caught a movie called Deep Water.
Okay,
have you heard of this?
Is this like fall?
No,
it's not. Okay,
what do you mean? What
fall, like what we you know? The movie, isn't it fall? The fall, you know.
Well, no, it's different. Basically, this is a shark movie.
Okay,
just to sum it up.
Is it like with sharks, but like the fall?
Yeah, I get. Well, you know, okay, I think I see what you're saying. Like sort of in that genre.
Yeah.
And this is it's
people who shouldn't be somewhere.
Yes, but this is basically okay. It's directed by Rennie Harlan. And it's got Aaron Eckhart and Ben Kingsley. And basically, there's a commercial airliner that has issues over the ocean, crash lands, and the people who survived have to figure out how to get rescued. But there's sharks swimming in the water.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I was vaguely aware of this, and my friend was like, "Hey, do you want to go see this?" And I was like, "Sure." You know, like, you know, why not? And so I had little to no expectations, and I was totally surprised by the end where I was like, hey, that was fun. And I say that because this is like not a great movie. Like this is a B movie. Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, I had this thought and I said it to my friend and he was like, yes, exactly. It felt like a script that was originally in another language and like someone who lied about being fluent in languages translated it. Like that's kind of what it feels like. And it even sort of reminded me of like those vertical dramas. I haven't seen a lot of them, but you get the idea where it's like there are these very broad tropey situations and characters who are super on the nose. Like he's the villain and she's the like person who needs rescuing and he's the hero. Like that's as deep as this movie is. But at the same time, sometimes stuff that on the nose does tap into the core of what we respond to. Like we do want to see the bad guy get his comeuppance. We do want to see the hero act heroically. And this movie kind of taps into that, you know? So, and there was some Rennie Harlan. He's got like a zest to the way that he films things. Like, I know he hasn't worked on anything sort of major in several sorts of years, but when this started and they were filming, setting up all the people who we're going to watch, all the, not stereotypes, but like caricatures of types of people where it's like the nice family, the guy who's annoying everyone, the jock who isn't nice to the nerdy guy, like when they're setting all that up, as simple as that stuff is, it's filmed really well. Like I was like, oh, what an interesting idea putting the camera there. I wouldn't have thought of that, but it's very cinematic. I was thinking about it. Like, this is elevating something very simple that could have been like a TV movie in the 80s or something. And, and then there's the moment where I talk about this all the time where someone is really like annoying you or he's really bad. And I'm like, yeah, just throw him to the sharks. But then the hero doesn't do that. And you're like, right. No, that's better. I wish I was like him. Like, it has those kinds of moments. And of course, I mean, like, spoiler, like the jock ends up being nice to the nerd because the nerd's nice to the jock. Like, this stuff is so simple.
I'm not watching it now, so thanks for ruining it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's so simple. I just want to be clear. But like, streaming this on a Friday night, it was enjoyable. I was surprised that I found it enjoyable. So I thought it was at least worth mentioning.
Scratch that itch for you.
I think someday it is going to be on Netflix. Probably it won't be long, but and you could do worse. It is kind of fun, the what would you do of it all in a way, where you're stuck in the ocean and you have limited resources. So anyway, I thought I'd acknowledge it.
There we go. Consider it acknowledged.
Yeah. Well, I now have a movie and a TV show. So
Okay.
I caught The Sheep Detectives.
Have you? Yes.
This is one of those movies feels like it came kind of out of nowhere and everyone was like, hey, this is really good. Have you?
I've been wanting to see it.
Yeah. So basically Hugh Jackman plays a shepherd.
I should say I've been wanting to see this and Mortal Kombat 2. Very different. I was hoping to make one day of it and just really give myself a migraine from the the ricocheting tones,
Yeah. Well, you know what though? That's the thing. Sometimes you're in the mood for either or, right? Like, we kind of like it all. But The Sheep Detectives basically, okay. So Hugh Jackman plays a shepherd who reads mystery novels to his sheep every night. And then one morning, the sheep find that their shepherd has been murdered. And so they're like, wait a minute, like, we've learned a lot from these mystery novels he's read to us. Maybe we can solve his murder, which is an insane plot. Can you imagine being in a room pitching that, like, to Disney or something? Like, the sheep will solve the shepherd's murder. And this comes from, I think, a couple writers, but one of them is Craig Mazin, which is very interesting because he did Chernobyl.
Hangover,
right? Did he? I know he did one of those sort of like more comedic sorts of things. But recently he's been doing The Last of Us, Chernobyl.
Yep. He wrote Hangover 2 and 3 at least.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I mean, isn't that fascinating? I mean, his output is all over the place.
That's quite the filmography. Of course, he EP'd Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just very curious what this would even be like. And I would say it feels similar to me. It's been a while, but to something like Babe, where, it's talking animals, but it has a real sincere heart to it. So you get the pleasure of something that like kids will enjoy and, sheep making kind of funny faces and reacting strangely to things that we know are usual. Like, they have to cross a road and they're like, what is that? Because they've never seen it before. They've always been in a field, and you get that kind of fun silliness. But then there's also, you learn more about the shepherd and how he treated all the sheep, and there's, different sheep that don't get along, but he loved all of them. And they're like, maybe they can learn to get along too. That like really does successfully tug at the heartstrings, I think. And, I mean, it's light. It feels like a movie, for like a younger audience, but I went and saw it at the theater and it was all adults, so
interesting.
And I think everybody kind of walked out with a smile on their face. So I think this is a nice movie. And it's I would say for kids, it's, I mean, very clean. I would say the only thing is the sheep literally learn about death. Like that's
Okay.
kind of their arc, is they don't really understand what death is at the beginning. And over the course of this, they have to learn what it is to have someone die and how to deal with that, how to grapple with that. So that is a big part of the story. So, I guess it's up to the parents if that's something they're ready to expose the kids to.
So be aware if you're taking the little ones.
Yeah, but just
It
nice.
It might traumatize them the way kids were traumatized when Papuli died on Full House.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
It was rough.
It was a very special episode.
It was.
Yeah, Michelle, she didn't take it easy. It was
it was a generational trauma.
Yes. But yeah, very much in that Babe vein. So
I was going to say, like, you half expect from the commercials to have Hugh Jackman say, "That'll do, sheep."
Kinda. Yeah. Sort of like the James Cromwell, sort of just like a very sweet, kind-hearted guy that the animals look up to. And it's very nice.
You know what's crazy, by the way, is that like James Cromwell is like pushing 80 now, probably, which means he was like in his 40s when he was in Babe.
Okay, so when I watched Footloose, obviously I was like, all right, what is everybody's age in this? Dude, John Lithgow, he plays, like the preacher father, stern figure. He was 8 years younger than me in that movie. I was like, oh my gosh.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Lastly, I want to talk about a show that I just had no idea what it was and pretty much no intention of watching it. It's called Widow's Bay. Okay, so this is on Apple TV Plus, and I would see the splash page when I would turn on my Apple TV, but I was just like, and it just always skipped past it. Like, no, I don't know why, it just did not grab my eye. And then I heard a recommendation for it, and I was like, and they're like each episode's about 30 minutes. So I was like, all right, like, I don't know what else to watch. I'm kind of tired. This will do the trick until I fall asleep. Let's just see what this is. And the premise basically is it's sort of like Twin Peaks, or this is really obscure, but maybe even more accurate. It's like the show Erie, Indiana. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Told from the point of view of essentially the mayor from Jaws.
Okay.
So there's this mayor of this, small, town, kind of northeast, like Maine-esque kind of vibe. I don't remember specifically what it is, but he's trying to figure out a way to get tourism to return. And so the pilot episode, there's a New York Times journalist who's going to come out and visit, and he's just like, we've got to make sure that he's happy here and that he writes a good piece about our town. This is important for all of us. But everybody there is very superstitious and like, oh no, but the fog's rolling in. You know what happens when the fog rolls in? Turns people into zombies. And he's like, please don't talk to the journalist. And this is Matthew Rhys, I should say, who's really great. And so the first episode is, the fog rolls in, the journalist is there, weird stuff starts happening, and the mayor's like, wait, are they right? Like, and so he's trying to protect the journalist from it and whatever. And so it was entertaining, but I thought, do I want to watch like 10 episodes of this? Like sort of like a zombie fog. I don't know if this is going to sustain. But anyway, I did enjoy it. So I started episode 2, and episode 2 is a completely different thing. So there is the thread, and minor spoiler, the journalist does write a positive piece. So now tourists are going to be coming in a week. And so he's like, okay, so we've got to make sure that the hotel is in good working condition for everybody. And then the locals are like, oh no, like hotel's haunted. So it's now it's a haunted house story. So like each story is a different sort of supernatural, spooky idea explored in this town. And I think that is genius because that keeps you, it feels different each episode, although it still feels tonally, in this fun, spooky, funny place that I'm enjoying. But then it's like, well, what's it going to be next week? And so the haunted house one is the one that really got me. I was like, that is a great idea. There's a lot of really funny ideas in it. It's the first one that actually scared me. I was like, whoa, there's a moment where I was like, ugh. But it also has this real subtle stuff that's happening where there's a moment where this doesn't really affect the story at all, but I just really loved it, where the guy who owns the hotel, the mayor is trying to convince the superstitious people that there's nothing weird about this hotel. Oh, I think there's a room in particular, sort of like 237 or whatever it is from The Shining. Like, don't go in there. And the mayor's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. And so he says to the hotel owner, like, just go in there and we'll shut the door and count to 10 and show them everything's fine. And the guy's like, So he puts the hotel owner in there, shuts the door, and he's like, counts to 10. And they open the door, and you can see on the hotel owner's face that he has just lived like a week. And he's like, but he doesn't want to talk about it. And he just like walks out. And they don't explore that. Like, it's just weird stuff. And it's funny, and it is spooky in like a really funny, fun sort of way. And so I'm really enjoying it. And the last one that I saw, I haven't seen this week's, but it's basically this girl who feels a little bit like an outcast, and she wants to throw a party. I don't want to ruin it, but basically she goes down a rabbit hole of trying to put on this party. And then, of course, there's something weird happening that you can't quite figure out. And there's this brilliant moment where, everything seems sort of normal as she's putting this party on, and the camera's just panning across the room. But it catches a mirror for a split second, and the reflection in the mirror doesn't reflect what's happening in the room. And you're like, what? And then, but the camera keeps moving. And I was like, this is what I love. This is the kind of spookiness and horror that I love. So
I gotta check this out. This sounds great.
I think it's a lot of fun. I haven't seen this week, so I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. So I had no idea. I don't know if I would have watched this otherwise, but if that sounds up your alley, I would recommend Widow's Bay at Apple TV Plus.
Well, very cool. I saw a couple things I wanted to mention real quick.
Yeah.
So first up, we have Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan Ghost War.
He's back.
He is back. He left 3 years ago, but he's back for more. So this is a movie sequel to the Prime Video streaming series.
Have they done that yet? Has it just been a series, or have they done, like one-off movies yet?
Of Jack Ryan?
Yeah. Well, no, for this particular, the John Krasinski.
This is the first time.
Okay.
That they're doing a movie.
Okay.
And you know me, I'm a big Jack Ryan fan. I like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The books less so. I tried reading one, and that was it for me.
Wait, what do you mean? The Patriot Games, the old ones?
Yeah. Well, I was assigned to read between 8th grade and freshman year the Cardinal of the Kremlin.
I remember that title. Yeah.
I was quite excited to read it because by then Patriot Games had come out, and Hunt for Red October, of course, and I was like, oh man, can't wait. And it was just impenetrable. I know people love Tom Clancy's techno thriller prose.
Yes.
I will count myself as not a fan.
Yeah. I remember buying The Sum of All Fears because I liked the Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like as big as the Bible, and I was like, I just couldn't. I couldn't get through it.
But all that is to say, I've enjoyed the movies quite a bit. I think I've said I have enjoyed to varying degrees every Jack Ryan movie, including the Chris Pine one that everyone forgets about.
Same, yeah.
And I really enjoyed the series, the Prime Video series, which I highly recommend. I've recommended it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So when they announced that they were doing this movie, I was very excited. I was like, man, let's do I think John Krasinski, to me, is second only to Harrison Ford, who is my favorite Jack Ryan.
Interesting. Wait, can you explain what it is about him that embodies Jack Ryan so well? Yeah.
Well, I think what he adds is whenever an awkward moment happens, he looks at the camera and and looks incredulous, which that makes him more relatable to me.
Totally. And I like that.
When Jim Greer says something, he looks over and he kind of shakes his head like, no.
Right.
No, you know, I think it's tricky with Jack Ryan because he has to be an everyman
Mm-hmm.
who is, you believe he's a man of action, but you also believe he is smart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Jack Ryan is always the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
And I think Alec Baldwin was able to convey that. Certainly, he conveyed the smart part more than the man of action part.
Yeah.
I think that Harrison Ford was able to convey both.
Mhm.
And then like I said, Alec, Ben Affleck, Chris Pine, they were able to do it to varying degrees. I haven't disliked any of them, but I just feel like Krasinski works for me in the same way Harrison Ford did.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was just darn good, man. 4 seasons. It was very solid, I think, and this movie is not, unfortunately. I said this in my review for The Wrap. John Krasinski is a great Jack Ryan. Ghost War is not a great Jack Ryan movie. Like, even the title is such a generic, it's like a placeholder title.
Ghost War, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? There was there's all those like arcade shooting games. And
Right.
there was one that was very generic that for some reason Sean and I really liked. It was called Ghost Squad. And everything about it was fun to play, but everything about it felt like a knockoff of something that had already been done better.
Right.
So yeah, even just it's like you're working for the Ghost Squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it reminds me of that a little bit. Ghost War.
It's a shame because like it does pick up, a couple of years after the show, and so you get, Wendell Pierce is back as Admiral Greer, and what's his name? I forget the actor's name. The guy who played Mike November. It's kind of like the John Clark type character.
I'm looking.
It's Michael.
Oh
Kelly.
yeah,
Michael Kelly is the actor's name.
Yeah.
He's back. Like it's what I would have wanted. Like, if you're going to continue, bring everybody back. But the story is just very generic, and then it doesn't amount to anything. And the third act, it's just like machine gun fire and buildings exploding and stuff. And I'm like, that's boring,
I thought we were talking about Mandalorian and Grogu later.
some similar reactions. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I went with my son. I know, really, right? I went with my oldest. He's 19, and we've watched the Ryan movies together. And when it ended, he turns to me. He's like, "It was an okay action movie. I didn't think it was a good Jack Ryan movie." And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, "Come here, boy.
Yeah, let's go get some milkshakes."
Exactly. So there's just some, what I always point to is like two Jack Ryan scenes that are like top tier, right? Number one, Clear and Present Danger. I think you already know what I'm talking about without me even talking about it. It's the ambush, right? The convoy ambush. But also in Clear and Present Danger, there's a scene where Jack Ryan is trying to print out some files.
I remember that too. Yeah.
Right. While across the hall, you have Henry Czerny deleting the files.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like chewing your fingernails watching this scene.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, like, to me, that's where the sort of Clancy oeuvre excels, where there's like there's more tension, and it's more about the politicking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sum of All Fears, you've seen that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the climax of the movie is like Jack Ryan texting the premier of Russia, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's to me the essence of drama. And this one kind of loses sight of that, which is just a shame because all the ingredients are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So the movie ends, and I certainly was not like, oh, that sucked. I just thought it was kind of mid. And I'm like, I hope we get another one because I'd like to see them get it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Because I love those movies, I think Krasinski is terrific as Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie is streaming on Prime Video, and also on Prime Video, starting next week as we record this, is Spider Noir.
Now this I'm very, very curious about.
Yeah, so this is an 8-episode series that is part of Sony, and its efforts to a la Marge Simpson and the Chanel dress. Like how many ensembles can we get out of this?
Yeah, right.
That's Sony with their packet of Spider-Man rights,
Yeah.
So they tried the thing like, hey, let's make movies out of Spider-Man villains, and after like the fourth one, people like, stop, for the love of God, stop.
Right.
After Kraven the Hunter, that's like, God,
Oh man.
just like no.
Right.
And so this is instead it's produced by Lord and Miller,
Oh,
and it is ostensibly based on the Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Noir character from
Right.
the Spider-Verse movies.
There's the connection. Yeah.
But this is not specifically that. This is another variant.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And this is, I mean, does it matter? I mean, not really, I guess. But like, I think there's some kind, it's weird, right? Because the Spider-Man rights are just sliced up like deli meat between Sony and Disney, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think the way it works is like Sony has the live action feature rights
Okay.
and the feature animation rights
Okay.
and live action TV rights. I think that's right.
Okay.
And then Disney has TV animation.
Okay.
So that's why on Disney Plus you've got like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's a Disney joint.
Right.
But Sony is not allowed to use Peter Parker in any movie that isn't the MCU Spider-Man.
Can you imagine being in the meetings where they hashed all this out?
It's a lot, right?
I bet it was tedious, but also kind of fascinating.
I think so. Yeah. So this is me trying to navigate through this morass, right?
Yeah.
So in the Spider-Verse movies, Spider-Man Noir is Peter Parker, but in this series, he's Ben Reilly.
Okay.
Right. Now, Ben Reilly, for those of you who don't know, which I would assume is you, Brian.
Correct.
Ben Reilly is the Spider-Man clone character from the 90s. That was the name that he gave.
Okay.
Himself.
So he isn't Peter Parker, but he's Peter Parker.
Oh, well, hold on. No.
Okay.
At some point, and this isn't a spoiler, but it alludes to the fact that the show. This is like a lot of legwork I'm at. So the show is set in like the 30s.
Uh-huh.
Right. Post-war, and it's like a noir. I mean, it's noir. It's in the title. It's like trying to be like a pre-code Warner Brothers gangster picture.
Sure.
Doing that. And it alludes to the fact that Ben Reilly, he changed his name.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, he is Peter Parker.
Okay.
But see, this I actually mentioned this in my review. I'm like, it's kind of brilliant calling him Ben Reilly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, if you say Peter Parker, that carries a certain set of expectations.
Totally. I agree.
And to some extent, it takes you out of it because you're like, oh, Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a noir story that has some Spider-Man elements in it, but like, you just take it for what it is.
Totally.
Right. And so, it's just Nicolas Cage, really just Nicolas Caging it up. Right. So,
right.
I'm the spider. I'm a detective. It's just him doing that.
So
mostly,
he is caging it up.
Oh, big time. He's having fun.
That sounds great.
I mean, there's literally points in the thing where he's like, yeah, see, yeah. He's
Really?
literally, and I'm like, I love this. I love that Nicolas Cage is in his happy place. He's 60 plus.
Right.
And he's like, I'm just going to play black and white Spider-Man going, yeah, see, yeah.
Wait, the whole time? Or
not the whole time. No, he does it occasionally. And it's clear he's like channeling Edward G. Robinson. It's textual,
Yeah.
But I went in expecting not much, and I was quite surprised. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I found it very fun.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to Nicolas Cage, you've got Brendan Gleeson.
Oh, okay.
who's got this great, Chief O'Hara Irish accent. He plays a mob boss called Silvermane.
Okay.
And he's hamming it up. You got Lamorne Morris is in there, Jack Houston, and they're all playing like Spider-Man characters.
Mm.
But it's, this is Marge in the Chanel dress. We're pretty far down the road at this point.
Yeah.
From what that dress started out as,
Right. But there's still traces. There's traces.
There's traces, exactly. And I'm kind of like, look, if Sony's going to do stuff like this, then I'll at least applaud the effort because they're trying to mix it up a little,
Yeah.
So I would be totally down with seeing another season of this.
Great. I can't wait to watch this.
And it's available in 2 flavors. So you have authentic black and white, and then true hue color. And so you watch it in black and white, and it gives you something. You feel like you're going to see Jimmy Cagney walk down the street. And then the true hue kind of it has this like almost it looks colorized. So to me it evokes like Dick Tracy, the Warren Beatty Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I enjoyed it.
Great.
Two things on Prime Video, but 2 very different reactions.
I'm really looking forward to the Spider-Man one.
Yeah. So that is that. Hey, we got a couple listener letters here, Brian.
Mail call!
I believe you have a letter for me.
18,000 letters, all addressed to Santa Claus.
You got mail.
Just right off the bat, I want to mention this. Our friend Bushra saw the movie Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, and she had the funniest take on it I had to share, where she was like, for me, it sort of played like a Burns for All Seasons. When Mr. Burns had that propaganda movie made for him, where it like completely made him like the greatest hero who ever was, directed by Senior Spielbergo. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty apt.
We just needed Chuck Heston being like, you truly are king of kings.
You really are the king of pop.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty good.
Well, they're hard at work on that sequel. That's a coming.
Have you heard about this, by the way? Like, obviously the question is, whatever is left in his life to cover is really dicey.
Yeah, it's going to take us down some depressing corridors.
Right. Well, so the first movie contorted itself however it could, as awkwardly as it was at times, to avoid making him seem even slightly, even like offbeat. You know what I mean? He's just Saint Michael for the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you possibly cover these later years in a sequel? And what I read yesterday, I don't have it in front of me, but someone at Lionsgate was like, well, we don't necessarily have to go forward. There's a lot of things we didn't cover in the first movie. It can jump around in time. And I was like, you guys really just stepped in it. Like,
you can tell this guy was just like riffing off the top of his head.
Well, I think this is.
I think he was like, "Yeah, see, we can go back."
Well, definitely
time,
definitely that. But also, this clearly wasn't the plan, right? I mean, they did make a movie that went into the Neverland Ranch and the police coming in, and like they did do that. Then they had to go back and change everything, and they put out something that everybody really liked that just didn't get into any sort of controversy or questioning anything.
Yeah, well, here's the quote. This is from Adam Fogelson. He's the head of Lionsgate. He says, all the conversations that we've been having with all of the appropriate parties continue to go exceptionally well. And I would say that there's a ton of incredibly entertaining Michael Jackson story and much of the biggest and most popular parts of his music catalog that were not touched upon in the first film. I actually don't think that's true because even in terms of his music.
To think that anything, I mean, Dangerous, of course, was a big hit in its own right, but
Black
also,
or White.
Yeah, but I mean, to say that was, Thriller is Thriller.
Right.
But what I mean is,
but this is the bit.
Oh, yeah,
talking about. He
please.
says we can go forwards and backwards in telling the story. There's so many. He wants to do like Godfather Part 2, basically.
Dude, they're gonna owe you a big check. Like, I think you just cracked it for them.
There's so many other events that happened, even in the time frame of the original movie, that weren't touched upon.
No
so
kidding.
You may still get your Joe Jackson abusing Michael moments that you wanted more of.
Obviously, that's not true.
Well, no, but you
No, but he is referring to me saying that I think they sanitized Joe Jackson a little bit, as awful as he still came across. But also, I mean, yeah,
I just remember you saying I wanted more of the child being beaten. And you were very like exercised about it. I was actually I had to take off my headphones. You were that there was so much distortion in my headset.
I kept being like, if I could return to my earlier point, Zaki, before you cut me off, before you change the subject. No, but I mean, obviously,
well, you make a good point. Obviously,
I mean, I was saying, we didn't even touch on him dating Brooke Shields, which is kind of interesting for a myriad of reasons. The weird rumors that started going out on around him about him sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber. And I'm not saying I want them to point at him and say, "Isn't this guy weird?" But like this was a big part of who he was in the public's consciousness. Why not address it? How did he feel about that? I do think that would make for a more textured and interesting look at him. But what I think is interesting is they realized if we take all of that stuff out and just make him St. Michael, that's a winning formula. You know what I mean? That worked. Nobody cared that we didn't address any of the other stuff or even go very deep. So
I think that gets a lot harder to do with the second half of his life.
But that's why I find it so fascinating. They're like, why go forward? Let's go back again.
Let's go back again.
I just think that's like amazing. Captain EO, they didn't even cover,
Smooth Criminal.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much they didn't touch on in that era. So, I mean, they must be thinking multiple movies, not just one. So maybe this one will fill in the gaps. Like you said, it might be sort of a Godfather 2 situation, like jumping back and forth. And then I'm sure they'll leave room for a third one.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Anyway, so that was our listener letter section. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, we got a ton of letters regarding our commentary track for All the President's Men, and I wanted to share some of those.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this is a note we got from Adamo, and he says, "Damn, I listened to your commentary of All the President's Men during the weirdest week possible for nostalgia for traditional media. During my senior year in high school, I was fortunate to work as a part-time sports reporter for my local paper, the Douglas County News Review in Roseburg, Oregon. Last year, the paper went to a weekly print edition rather than daily, and this last Friday, April 24th, they published their last print edition after 158 years. My working life started at another newspaper as a paperboy for the Juneau Empire, which is now a shell of itself. I'm also a fan of movies set or partially set in a newsroom. The chaos always makes me remember those Friday and Saturday nights when all of us sports reporters were calling coaches and trying to fill in stats for the local prep games, especially on a Saturday night with the midnight deadline approaching, so Craig, the sports editor, could get everything laid out and sent to the printing plant. A movie I would suggest is the Ron Howard-directed film The Paper. It captures that manic energy and has an amazing ensemble cast: Michael Keaton, Marissa Tomei, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Randy Quaid, Catherine O'Hara, and more. It's one of my comfort food movies that I'll throw on when I can't sleep and just need something familiar to drift off to, but then we'll pull it up a day or two later because I want to watch it. I also want to put in a plug for the listeners to support your local journalism. Maybe buy a digital subscription to your local paper or pick up a print edition once in a while. I know not everyone can afford to do that, but if you're able, please consider it. While traditional media may have its flaws, it's also a fundamental backbone of ensuring we maintain an informed public. Thanks again for another great commentary.
I love every part of that, Adam. Thank you.
I love The Paper. You've seen that, right?
Yes. Yeah, Ron Howard.
That is a good flick.
Yeah, kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, gosh, when it comes to news, I do try to put my money where my mouth is. That, I buy digital subscriptions. Actually, more outlets than I read, I subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
Because exactly that, it's, if you don't pay for it, then we'll all pay for it.
Very good. Yeah.
You know? Here's a note we got from Charles Ogan, who says, I enjoyed your recent commentary on All the President's Men. It's always nice to hear you speak fondly of the College of DuPage and Wheaton. Well, gosh, that's our origin story, right, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
When you mentioned missing Bernstein at College of DuPage, it triggered a memory for me. After graduating from DePaul Law School, but before I received my bar results, my mom set me up for lunch with a lawyer friend of hers. The idea was that this respected attorney could offer some sage advice on how to succeed as a new lawyer in DuPage County and hopefully point me toward a few job leads. The day came and I put on my nicest and only suit and met this older lawyer for lunch in Wheaton. When I arrived, I was surprised to see another man sitting with him. Both stood up and greeted me, and my contact said, I hope you don't mind. I invited Al Woodward, one of my partners. Yes, that Alfred Woodward, the respected retired judge and father of Bob Woodward.
Wow.
The three of us made small talk, and I received my share of advice on how to build a legal career in DuPage County. Midway through the conversation, I finally worked up the courage to bring up All the President's Men and his son. I remember asking Judge Woodward what it felt like to have someone like Robert Redford portray his son. He smiled and said, it didn't feel bad. Redford is a good man. That brief interaction has lingered in my mind far more than most of the advice I received that day. Thank you again for the commentary. It not only brought back this memory, but also prompted me to rewatch All the President's Men last night. It was just as enjoyable as I remembered.
Amazing. That's amazing. And we bring that up in the commentary. I went to Wheaton Warrenville South High School, and Bob Woodward graduated from there. So that was kind of a point of pride for the school.
Yeah, and I missed out on my chance to see Carl Bernstein at College of DuPage.
That's right.
That's a point of pride for me.
Right.
Here's a comment we got from Luke Smale on YouTube. And this is also with regards to All the President's Men. He says, another superb commentary by you guys. Very, very informative. And Zaki, well done for keeping the comparisons between then politically and now to a minimum. As I would have been like, that is just like what's happening every 3 minutes.
Right.
A few years ago, I actually sat down and watched the Richard Nixon trilogy, The Post, All the President's Men, and Frost Nixon.
Right.
That's like the Richard Nixon journalism trilogy, you'd call it.
Yeah.
Just like Palpatine in the original trilogy, the lead villain doesn't appear until the third film. If you really want to go bananas, Point Break can be the spin-off film in the saga.
I am not a crook. Yeah.
Like you guys, I have a love of investigative journalism films, and another one I would add is The Killing Fields. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I haven't seen
Sam
that since
Waterston.
school.
Yeah, which I saw just recently. Redford was really on fire during the 70s, and one of his most underrated films is The Candidate, which I only saw after he passed away and loved the hell out of. Amazing film if you've never seen it. If you want to see some great DVD extra features, the DVD for the 25th anniversary of All the President's Men has interviews with Ben Bradley and Woodstein. Both of them. They discuss journalism then versus in the early 2000s, and it's well worth a look. And that, too, that's like 20 years ago now.
That's wild, yeah.
1976 had some amazing films, so I look forward to more commentaries from this year.
Nice.
There we go. And then here's a note we got from Melissa Nicholson, and this is in regards to, you and I, we were talking about the trailer for the Harry Potter series that's coming up on
yes, that's right.
HBO. And we were both like, well, we're not the audience for this.
Yes.
So please help us.
Yeah.
So Melissa duly answered. She said, hey, Zaki and Brian, love the recent episode of the podcast. Probably laughed a little too hard at Melatonin Man and Baby Yoda.
It's funny. When I saw it last night, I called my mom afterwards when I was driving home just to chit chat. And she jokingly was like, so how's Melatonin Man? That's so thank you for bringing that up, Melissa.
And we'll be talking about that later in the episode.
Yep.
When you were talking about the latest Harry Potter series that will be coming out soon, I wanted to share my thoughts. I've been a Harry Potter fan since the beginning, which makes it 29 years. Ouch. It was a book I immediately loved, enjoyed. It felt down to earth, relatable, and then you get into the magical world and follow Harry on his journey through life. And as he becomes a wizard, there are so many wonderful characters that you begin to know and love. I went through my read of the book, watched the movie. My mom and I went to everyone and enjoyed it all. There were honestly no nitpicks. That's the movies.
That's nice.
Now comes along a TV series of a movie and book series. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about something essentially being rebooted into something new. I know I do not like the look of it. It feels bland and sterile somehow. The original movies felt so warm and cozy, and it became dark when it needed to, which was further into the film series. yet it still had those warm moments, especially in the first film. Chris Columbus brought that whole world to life and then some. It's absolutely incredible. It still blows my mind to this day that those candles in the main hall of Hogwarts were done practically. Those are all real candles.
Yeah.
I feel like they're doing this to bring a new generation into the world of Harry Potter, but make it more fresh and new looking.
Yeah.
It could also be an attempt to bring fans back into it, because I felt the fandom did take a hit from all the J.K. Rowling thoughts and opinions.
Mm.
For me, I don't agree on any level with Rowling, but I separate the two. Rowling is in their own little bubble of nonsense and thoughts, and the magical world is in its own, remaining untainted. I choose to do it that way because I love Harry Potter so much, and I wouldn't want the author's opinions to ruin it for me. When I saw the trailer for the new series, the vibe was off, and like I said before, the look of it was very different and felt so bland. Seeing new people in roles that became very familiar to me was weird. The actors who played the roles in the movies became those characters, and you couldn't see anyone else playing it. Here we have a whole new group of people coming along to play these beloved characters. I feel it's too different and just doesn't feel right. This is only a trailer after all, so maybe it's not so bad, but my immediate thought is this isn't for me, and that's okay. The original became a millennial generation Star Wars where it just blew up and became a phenomenon for many. I was a part of that, which is pretty neat to think. I hope that this new series captures an audience, and maybe this is the stepping stone for them to explore the older films and the books, because there will be those who haven't yet heard of them yet. This new series will be something for someone, and I hope it's enjoyed. That's a nice perspective.
I was just thinking that. Yep.
Yeah. And then Melissa says, P.S. Glad you finally got your teeth dealt with, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
Sounds like the whole process was like pulling teeth. Yes, I'm glad your tooth situation is done too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I have no stake in any of the Harry Potter stuff, but I mean, I guess ultimately that's what it is, right? Like the new thing is going to be somebody's entree into all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
you just hope it's good. Hope it's good for them.
Right now, my nieces, so my brother's daughters, they're watching the modern Planet of the Apes films for the first time.
Okay.
And so Rise of the Planet of the Apes is their entree into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I hope, they'll go back and watch the 68 one at some point. I'd love to hear their thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'd be very curious.
But that's the thing, right? It's like Creed is somebody's first Rocky movie.
Totally.
And this isn't exactly that. And I understand people being very precious about it. And it does get messy because J.K. Rowling is pretty obnoxious.
There are a lot of factors here. I was going to say, I really appreciate Melissa's take because, when I was a little bit younger, I did have the feeling where you can't do that. This is the thing. How can you assume that anyone else could accept anything else as the thing? But as I get older and time marches on, you realize there's just cycles of things, and this is a new cycle. I'm like finally old enough to now see that. And it's like, okay, well, I had my cycle and it was pretty good and people seem to like it still. So at some point, it makes sense to recycle something possibly. And hopefully it speaks to, the generation coming up now.
Well, as is sort of the unofficial mantra of the movie film show, it's not a better friend than Froggy, just different.
Yeah. And we can still feel that the older is more successful. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that this is the only version that's going to be good for them. But if it gets them interested in something, that's great. And something that was always good is always going to be good. So like you were saying about the Planet of the Apes, hopefully it brings people back to the older thing that they might not have checked out otherwise.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't mean to dismiss the past.
Well, it's sort of like I remember being a little kid and growing up with Christopher Reeve as Superman, and then I saw a picture of George Reeves as the TV Superman, and being like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, there's only one Superman, and then obviously you're like, no, well, that's part of the history, and guess what? Christopher Reeve is part of the history. He's not the end of the history, and on it goes, and I think there is that sense of, I would imagine that for a lot of fans of Harry Potter films, there was that sense of like, well, these movies are going to be the testament to this franchise.
Yeah, like the Wizard of Oz.
Like the Wizard of
they'll be here in
Oz.
100 years. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And when you think about it, I mean, the list of movies like that keeps getting shorter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the fact that we have not gotten just a straight remake of Wizard of Oz is kind of astounding.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? One would have assumed that Lord of the Rings is somewhere in that boat, right? Like, well, you're not going to touch these, but who the hell knows, right?
Yeah, give it time.
Give it time. And that's kind of my thought on all of this stuff. Like, well, how precious do you want to be about this?
Mm-hmm.
But again, there is the general ick factor of Rowling, and I would imagine that Potter fans just have to sort of come to their own, place of being comfortable with it or not comfortable with it, with putting money in her pocket. I mean, that's challenging.
I know. And we talk about this often. There are just so many figures like that where we have to figure out ourselves who we can separate art from artist.
Well,
but some we can, some we can't. It's always, it's personal for everyone.
It really is. I mean, one thing I think about a lot is the fact that James Bond is now fully owned by a Bond villain. It's Jeff Bezos, and I'm like, I don't want to support that guy,
Right.
But yeah, that's just where we are. Welcome to the 21st century.
I know, and I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't know why I'm dragging myself into this, but like, yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of things about the way Amazon is run that don't sound so great, and yet I order from them all the time. And it's just the weird sort of, split personality sort of thing we have to deal with that kind of stuff living in the 21st century, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough,
Mm-hmm.
It is a challenge, yeah, and there is no easy answer.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some headlines though.
Extra, extra. What a scoop!
All right, so the Odyssey is coming up in a few months. Are you excited for that?
I am. There's a newish trailer out now, and I like the first one, but I really like the second one. I feel like it digs into the story even more. Shows sort of what everyone's up against and the villainy and the people being oppressed. And I was like, oh, this is meaty. This is what I needed to get even more excited about this.
What's funny is there has been like a barrage of critiques being lobbed at this movie, some of which are comical and some of which are, well, I would say the majority of them are comical.
Mm-hmm.
One I've seen a lot of is the fact that everyone in the film is speaking in like a traditional American accent.
Sure. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but I rewatched Amadeus recently.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen that since maybe school.
Right.
And I was initially struck that everyone is speaking like a modern sort of sounding English.
Yeah.
Not even trying to do like a British or Italian
like
or any sorts of any sort of accents. I was like, oh, that's a choice. But you know what? If that's what's going to allow the actors to give their best performance, you know what I mean? Not fighting through mimicking some sort of accent, then like, I don't know. I can adapt to that.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because in the trailer you have, Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, trading barbs, and both of them are not American.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I see.
And both of them are like, well, my dad's coming back and your dad's not coming back.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, dad, there's a lot of that on the internet.
I don't even remember that he says dad. That's funny though, versus father or something a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this and I'm like, well, if I were to guess, this is a sop to the fact that Matt Damon is Matt Damon. And I don't know how much skill he has with accents. Right.
So it starts at the top and works its way down. It's like, well,
I think
if Matt's
so.
not going to be doing an accent.
Right. I was thinking about this. I was like, this is canine teen syndrome.
Yes, right.
Like, what's more distracting? So for those of you who don't know, K-19 The Widowmaker is a submarine thriller directed by Catherine Bigelow. It stars Harrison Ford as a Russian submarine captain.
Mm-hmm.
And Harrison Ford was bound and determined to do a Russian accent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine the folks at various points in the food chain were like, please, for the love of God, don't do a Russian accent.
Right.
And he was like, I'm going to do a Russian accent. God damn it. Right.
Right.
And he tried, and he said he will not fail, but he failed.
Right.
Because all you hear is this Boris Badenov accent coming out of Harrison Ford's face, and it breaks your immersion.
Which makes you realize, I mean, he's one of the biggest stars, one of the most beloved movie stars in the world, but he has his lane. Right. He doesn't often veer out of being a Harrison Ford type. Right. Even it makes me think of the movie 42, that Jackie Robinson movie. Mm-hmm. And I remember he's trying to play like a crusty 1930s, 40s, whatever. Type of guy. And you're like, like maybe he should have just been more himself or something. Instead of putting on some sort of, these like characteristics that don't feel like they come naturally out of him. Yeah.
Well, like Sean Connery, whether he played an Irish beat cop or a Russian submarine captain or James effing Bond, he always sounded the same. Because that's Sean effing Connery.
Yep. That's why you hired Sean Connery.
That's right. So I think with the Odyssey, this is just my guess. I don't know. I think it's like Matt Damon speaking in an accent will be more distracting than just him speaking like Matt Damon. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they, it's kind of like in Wonder Woman, everybody speaks in an Israeli accent. Because Gal Gadot, right?
Yes,
I'm not making a joke. I mean,
no, I know. Well, actually, I was sort of slow. I was trying to remember, but I'd forgotten about that.
It's true. Like Connie Nielsen and Robin Wright and all of them, they're doing like a version of her accent.
Yeah. It's just been a minute since I've seen it. I'm trying to hear it again in my head. But anyway, yes. Exactly. Right. So anyway, it's just funny because I feel like we're at that point now where Christopher Nolan has achieved enough success where now you've got the folks who are lying in wait for him to fail. Yeah.
And Nolan's like, we will not fail. So, we'll see what happens. Right. It might go over like Harrison Ford's Russian accent. I don't know. And then the other controversy, which is either more concerning or stupider, or maybe both, is the fact that Nolan cast Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. People are very upset about this, Brian. I don't know. You may not believe this, Brian. Folks on the internet are upset about this.
I'm having a hard time imagining it.
Now here's the thing, okay? You have people who are like, they're changing history. They're changing.
Right.
It's not real. None of it is real.
Right.
Now, the only requirement for Helen of Troy is she was so beautiful that a war started for her. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. If you can look at Lupita Nyong'o and say she is not suited to play Helen of Troy, I think we know the reason why you think that.
Right.
Like, you're telling on yourself.
It almost makes me want to be like, explain.
Right, exactly. Go ahead.
Tell me.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'll give you all the rope you need. Go ahead.
Yes, I won't even interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because she's objectively gorgeous.
Yes.
So so Elon Musk, of course, is out there just on Front Street showing his whole entire ass, being like, Christopher Nolan is just giving into DEI and all this stuff. I'm like, and I was just like, does this stuff even work anymore? You know, you know what I mean? Because here's that movie's going to come out in July, and it's going to be a massive hit, and all y'all people are going to look like dumbasses. Right. So it's like, what are we even doing?
He makes me think of that Tucker Carlson impersonation.
What are we doing?
What's
going on? That's the goal now.
Yeah. I really love that. That's like the
It's pretty
first
brilliant.
impersonation that's like stuck with me in a while.
Yeah,
You know, where
it's
they've
pretty
given
dead
him
on.
these. Yeah. I got a little tripped up as you were talking because I was just like, wow. So just anybody's thoughts at like 2 a.m., no matter who they are on any topic, like we're just getting it all the time. You know what I mean?
Well-
Elon Musk, like, what? Like,
Well,
when's he
this is
thinking
the
about this?
problem.
Why do I know this? Like, why? You know?
This is the problem when these gazillionaires own everything. That's what you realize, right? Like
Right.
we are forced to be subjected to this, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? It's just it's hilarious to me because I'm like it is a fantasy story.
Mm-hmm.
It is the equivalent of pointing at Star Wars and being like, why y'all changing history? It was set, a long time ago and I don't remember it being like that,
Right.
It's like The Mummy, you know what I mean? It's fiction. It's not based on any history.
Right.
It's just really weird,
Yeah.
I'm tired, Brian. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I'm tired.
Speaking of tired, hey, the final Stephen Colbert Late Show aired last night. I'm tired because I was up late watching it.
Oh, how was I haven't seen it. I saw the headline. I saw that Paul McCartney was there, which I was like, of course, that's perfect, right? The Ed Sullivan Theater.
Exactly, right? Kinda, because they're shutting down the Ed Sullivan basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this past month I would say has been sort of an honor guard for Colbert, as all these people have been coming on and talking about how much they love him and how important he is, and I don't know how you couldn't get a big head after all that.
Sure, right.
I would imagine it's a bit like attending your own funeral, right?
Yeah, right.
Or your own wake. The only thought I mean, it's like there is the politics of it, and we already know what likely led to the cancellation, whatever. I'm not going to get into all that. We talked about that before. But the thought I had was, let's be honest, this is just the first of these, right? Like, I can't remember who said this, but somebody was like, this current batch of late night hosts are probably the final batch.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And
I
it's
mean,
like
this is the beginning of the end of that.
Right. Like there's something when you put it that way, like there will probably not be a late night show after Seth Meyers. There will probably not be,
Right.
a Tonight Show after Jimmy Kimmel. Although if anyone is going to hang in there, it would probably be the Tonight Show because it is such a storied franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then again, you would think that CBS would have wanted to keep the lights on at the Late Show.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something to that, and you can tell there is this sort of like, oh, Letterman was never political. I'm like, really?
Right.
Oh, Johnny Carson. It's like, yeah, Carson played to the middle of the country, but Johnny Carson made fun of every president. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's this sense of like, no, if my guy is in office, you don't make fun of him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's sort of, and it's like, well, no, that it used to be, we could all agree that you laugh at the president. That's what it used to be.
Right.
And I wish that hadn't changed. I don't know.
I know.
I think it's still mark of a healthy democracy when you poke fun at the person in charge, whoever it is, because it's the boss. And
yeah, keeping them in check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was, that was just something that made me a little sad about sort of like, I mean, these late night shows you and I talk about often, like, well, they mean something to us in our generation that is not the case for the one after us. So it's not surprising that their social relevance, their cultural relevance has started to fritter away,
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I mean it's not unique to our generation. I mean this is something that's gone on, years and years before us, right? I mean these are generations of having late night talk show hosts. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're just losing something that's like a 30-year-old
That's right.
type of thing. Like this goes way back. I mean, all the way even really to the days of radio. So it's just kind of sad seeing the beginning of the end of something that's been around for a very long time. I mean, it happens,
Right.
but it's still sad to see it.
Yeah. I think there is something that is plain to see in how fractured everyone has become, not just in their politics, in every kind of silo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good. That's how you get your Elons being like, yeah, Helen of Troy, and his, amen corner, all the people who hit like being like, yeah, tell him, Steve Dave,
Tell him Steve Dave. Yeah.
Right? Like, I think all of this is bad because it used to be I don't care if you're the richest man in the world. If you're like, yeah, Helen of Troy, people would be like, no, that's freaking stupid.
Yeah.
And there would be like society would sort of have a balancing effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I think these benchmarks, these touchstones, the more they fade away. Like, you remember when Carson went off the air?
Oh yeah.
Right? Even people who didn't watch it but were around that back then remember what that was. I mean, that was a moment.
I was young and I knew it was a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything comparable to that,
Yeah.
Which is a shame, maybe when Mr. Beast stops doing his YouTube shows,
that'll be another generation's, like, I don't know what the version of Bette Midler singing to him on a desk is, but he'll have that, like that is so funny.
Yep.
But that's what it is, right? I mean, if people are watching or talking about a moment from the Tonight Show or Late Night or whatever, more than likely they're talking about a clip they saw on YouTube.
That's right.
Than something they actually saw in the moment the previous night on TV.
Right.
So, and that's just a big part of this.
Yeah.
Why this is going away.
Now, one thing I would recommend, not in his last show, but his next to last show, I don't know if you ever watched The Late Show, but he would do the Colbert questionnaire.
Again, maybe clips from time to time.
Yeah, so it's just, basically he had like this all started with, this is a clip you and I talked about where he had Keanu Reeves on.
Oh, yes.
And they were talking about the then upcoming Bill and Ted 3. And Keanu is just kind of like, yeah, and they got to do all this. And if they don't, all of everything's going to end. Everybody's die. And just making conversation, Colbert's like, well, what happens when we die, Keanu Reeves? And Keanu Reeves thinks about it for a second, and he says, I know the people who love us will miss us.
Oh.
And right? And that was how the audience reacted.
Yeah.
Completely unexpected. And then, Colbert is taken aback a little bit, and he just kind of shakes his hand. And it's a beautiful sentiment.
It is, yeah.
And Colbert has said that moment led him to say, I want an opportunity for these types of just off the cuff interactions with people. And so he came up with this series of questions that he asks his guests. And so they've been doing it for a long time. So for his next to last show, he himself took the questionnaire.
Oh, interesting.
But each question was asked by a different celebrity guest.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go online, you'll see they have the extended version of this, which is about 45 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So worth a look. I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I would like to see that.
So Godspeed, Stephen Colbert. He will be missed, but he will be fine, of course.
Yeah, he's writing a Lord of the Rings movie right now.
Writing a Lord of the Rings movie. And the great thing is he is doing what many of us would like, which is if he wants, not a damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that sound good?
It really does.
I mean,
and he's had so many chapters and excelled in each of them. And not many people can say that, and especially in his industry. And now it's cool that he's got another chapter set up.
That's true.
That is something he's very passionate about, the world of Lord of the Rings. So that's great.
You know what's funny is in that questionnaire session I was mentioning, one of the questions was asked by his wife, who came out and I forget what the question she asked was, but she says to him, remember 30 years ago when you and I were in Chicago and both of us were unemployed and we didn't know, we had a little baby. We didn't know what we were going to do. Could you have imagined back then, 30 years later, you would be sitting here?
That's funny because I was actually thinking, but I didn't say it. I wonder how he felt when he was on the Dana Carvey show.
Right.
As a sketch performer, thinking like, dude, I'm on a show with one of the greatest who ever did it on SNL. Yep. This is a home run. This is going to launch me. And then that show was canceled almost immediately.
That's right.
And then he
talks about it in that documentary about the Dana Carvey show. He says it ends when you're working, you think, oh, that's it. I'm just going to work forever. And then when you're not working, you're like, well, that's it. I'm never working again.
Yeah.
And just that sense of like, you just don't know what's around the corner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But there's also something important there as well, which is that, the Dana Carvey show, which lasted like a minute and a half,
Yeah. Was it like canceled during a commercial break or something?
I mean, almost, it lasted about 6 hours. I've said this before, that show, it aired when I was a junior in high school and I was doing entertainment reviews for our paper, and I wanted to review the Dana Carvey show, and it was canceled before I could even, because we were monthly.
Right.
So like there was like no point,
Yeah.
But he and Steve Carell came up together, and so they were already friends. And then after the Dana Carvey, they were both on the Dana Carvey show. Dana Carvey show ends, and then Colbert gets on the Daily Show, and then he gets Carell on there, and obviously neither of them has ever looked back.
Yeah.
Right. But there's just something about, like you lift people up along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And your relationships that you build are what you carry with you from one experience to the next.
Right.
Like, because people will think of you when they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I can speak to this in my own professional life. I know you can speak to this in terms of your professional life.
Mm-hmm.
That matters so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just not even like, just be decent,
Yeah.
Just be a person, and that stuff, it pays dividends you can't even contemplate.
Yeah, and not just professionally, but personally. Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. We've solved
we did
all
it.
of humanity's problems.
Yeah.
Now let's
This has been great. What? Oh, sorry. Yes.
Now comes the greatest challenge of all, which we'll talk about right after this.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
And we are back, and you know who else is back, Brian?
Who's that?
Why it's
Sorry, who's that, Zaki?
Why, it's the spawn of Jabba the Hutt, Rata the Hutt.
Yeah.
Which, if you have watched Star Wars, you know that we saw him as a baby in the Clone Wars animated movie that launched the Star Wars Clone Wars series.
That's right. We get a little visual of that too. Like a little hollow picture of him as a little baby.
That's right. Also back are Din Djarin and Grogu, and the Star Wars franchise on the big screen.
Yeah. Since what? 7 years ago?
7 years, 6.5 years.
Wow.
The Mandalorian and Grogu is the what are we up to now? 10 Star Wars movies? No, 11, right? 12? What?
12, right? Yeah, because Solo and yeah. Well, I mean, and then
technically, if you want to include the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah.
13. Okay. That as we record this, this is Friday morning that we're recording this. It has made 12 million from its Thursday previews.
Not bad.
Which, that's I think that's somewhere around or just below what Solo opened to back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the theater I watched, and I went to a 2:00 IMAX screening, and it was like 2/3 full.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I had any expectations going in about the movie. I just, at that time of day, it was a big crowd for that time of day. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess as long as you said that, I will say I was in a neighborhood, not my normal neighborhood, a different one, and just due to whatever, I had to see it somewhere else. So I was looking at theaters in the area, and I intentionally
just you can admit you have mob hitmen who are staking out your neighborhood.
It's been a very tricky month for me. No, but I went out of my way to catch it in a theater with the most amount of people. I looked and saw in my little Regal network. I was like, which one has the biggest crowd? Because I wanted to be around the energy and also see what the energy was for this movie. So that was my experience.
There we go. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
The problem that I have had with the Mandalorian series concept from the beginning almost is that it is a costume, not a character.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie did nothing to dispel that. It really just underscored to me that I really don't find this character interesting at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, so I saw somebody online be like, it felt like 4 episodes of the show. And I don't even think that. It felt like video game levels.
I've seen both what you just said. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like, it's like, oh, here's the thing. Now the Mandalorian comes in. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, done. Now moving. Oh, here's the bad guy. Oh, here comes the Mandalorian. Pew, pew, pew. And then we move on to the next level.
Yeah. Here, talk to this vendor. He'll give you some information. Then go to the next place. Pew, pew, pew. Pew. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so much of that. And it's just this guy whose face I can't freaking see.
Yes.
Except for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Way too late in the movie.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Okay, we'll talk about this more. But here's the thing. Okay, it's one thing. This is from the show. It's one thing if the Mandalorians, like every single one of them, are like, no, bro, you don't take your mask off, right? Mm-hmm. No, it's this sect of like real hardcore cultists.
Right.
Like they're the weird ones.
Yeah. Right.
Right? So you'd think the journey of the character would be like, oh, I can still be me without all this like cultist stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, the show kind of moved him a little off of that, and then they moved him back.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, we can't change that. And I'm like, but that's not interesting.
Yeah. Okay, dude, I didn't know what. I had no idea what your opinion was on this.
Honestly, but I'll tell you something. I didn't even hate this movie. I really didn't. I did not hate it. I was just really apathetic. And 2/3 in, I was like, I'm kind of done, but I wasn't like sitting there hating it because I think just as colored shit passing in front of your face, it's fine. Fine, whatever.
I feel so much more comfortable in my chair right now. I don't want to stop you. I want you to keep.
There is a scene about 2/3 of the way in where the Mandalorian is hurt. Okay.
Yes.
And here's the thing. You're like, well, he's not gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And they spend, I'm gonna say, like 25 minutes on him just being unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we get it, guys. Like to me, it's like, because right after that, there's a scene where he's back again, and then he gets attacked by more monsters. And I was like, I want him to get bitten again, and then have another 20 minutes of him being unconscious. Yeah. So honestly, I have so many thoughts, but I'm kind of like, I'm finally at a place where I'm like, I don't think Disney knows what they're doing. And it's now like, they're so freaked out. They're like Roger Myers. Like, you don't know what you want.
Right.
You don't want this. You don't want that. So they landed on something that I'm sure they thought, well, this is our safest bet because this is the thing that a plurality of fans have liked.
Yeah.
And so we end up with this thing that is well-made pablum.
Uh-huh.
It's well-made. It's well-directed. Jon Favreau knows his way around this type of movie.
Yes.
I'm not interested in the character at all. That's my biggest problem. I just can't get into him.
Mm-hmm.
Just take that effing helmet off. Give me Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Pedro Pascal gets top billing for, I'm going to say 5 minutes because I don't believe that's him in any of the rest of it.
Oh no, it isn't. It's a bunch of stuntmen.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway, this yeah.
I love this. Because I do want to say this. Opinions are very, very mixed online. And so I do want to acknowledge I have seen people enjoy this. Yeah. And I am so happy for you. I don't, that's not condescension. I really am. Like, I'm really happy that people are enjoying this. I think it's something you can take your kids to, and they're probably going to like it. It's an easy to follow adventure. I can only give you my feelings here. So, you said you didn't feel this way, but I did feel like this movie felt like 3 decent enough episodes stitched together. And what I mean by that is we don't like the framework of that show is it is just sort of an episode of the week, and so it's like we have our character and he wanders into a town and he meets an interesting guy or, person and has to help them. And then it ends with our people walking off into the sunset again. And that's kind of what this felt like. I mean, Rada is probably the most interesting character in the movie, but he's always kind of in the back seat because we're following our, detective character.
Right.
It's always framed around our detective character, like the show. But this character, to your point, has no personality,
right? Has
no wants, has no needs, doesn't emote, is incapable of emoting.
Yeah,
and
his voice is this like, it's just like this monotone.
Which I think there is a way you could make that kind of work too. But this movie doesn't make any attempts at that. I mean, now my brain's all over the place because I have so much to say. But there are, I would say there are low to basically no stakes for our hero. Right. Throughout this whole thing.
Because he's the baddest badass.
Yeah, but what does he want? He doesn't need anything. He's just helping this guy because he's doing a task.
Right.
And then that Rada kind of disappears for a little bit, like in the middle of the movie. And I was just like, so what? So now we're back with this guy. What are the stakes? Like, what does he need? What's the tension? There is none, right?
Yeah.
And then the action is well shot, and I did enjoy it at first, but then it started to feel like a little repetitive to me.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's no moment where you think he's going to lose a battle. So there's that, but you could say that about a lot of movies. But then I think, if I'm not mistaken, he fights a creature in a pit 3 times in this movie. 3 times the same thing. He fights 2 water creatures twice, like in a pit, but they're different. So it was like, are you even trying? You know what I mean? But if this had been diced up into 3 episodes, I might not have clocked it as much.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So this just feels, just everything about this felt, there's some fun to be had on the surface, but the whole thing just felt very passive.
Yeah.
To me, the story, the character, like everything, there was no immediacy. There was no, in the first act, like, well, if we don't do this, all this is at stake. You might lose Grogu forever. You might die, and what will Grogu have? Like, there's no, the rebellion or the New Republic needs this or else. There's none of that.
And one other thought about the Grogu of it all. It's like, dude, stop taking that kid with you like that.
I had that feeling too when he was putting him in the seatbelt. I was like, maybe don't bring a kid into a battle.
That's like, you're irresponsible,
I know. But I will say, there were moments that I thought were fun. Like the opening I thought was very fun. Like we begin on a mission
and stuff.
And we get everything that I enjoy about Mandalorian and Grogu in that, right? We get the Star Wars of it. We get the AT-AT walkers. We get stormtroopers. We get like detonators. And we get the cuteness. We get how awesome and badass, Mandalorian is. And then we get the cuteness of Grogu, where he notices the little bombs. Right. And it seems like Mandalorian isn't like aware of them. So Grogu's like tap, 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 like tapping his helmet. Like I was like, this is okay. This is fun. But then after that, when the story kicks in, is just the most, stakeless sort of just hitting some beats and it just felt, I don't know, just like some okay episodes, ideas stitched together, and then they were like, let's put it in theaters.
Yeah, it I mean, they kiboshed a 4th season of The Mandalorian in favor of this movie.
That's what it feels like, that they took maybe their favorite ideas from those and smushed them together awkwardly into a feature film.
And it's very odd because it's like, it's like his co-pilot, his buddy, that's Zeb from Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know his name from watching the movie?
No, like I recognize it. Like I know he's a character that I'm sure a certain group of fandom will love, but
Right.
I don't really know who he is. And
See, that's a problem, right? Like what is his relationship with Mando? What, you know what I mean? Like,
and does he have any sort of characteristics other than he just flies sometimes?
Exactly. Right?
He's never put in peril or, has feelings about anything.
Like that stuff. It's frustrating because to me, this movie leans into just people's general familiarity with either broadly Star Wars or, these specific things in a way that works to the detriment of the story. Because they're like, oh, we made a story that will work even if you haven't seen the series. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I think the only thing that would have you emotionally invested in this is if you've seen, at least the first couple seasons of the show.
I agree with that, and also feel like it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you didn't generate any new stakes or things for them to, realize about one another or learn about themselves, like, so this doesn't stand on its own in that way. Unless you don't care about that and you just want to see stuff happen for like 2 hours. And maybe, and sometimes I can enjoy that sort of thing, but I just...
Right. Well, I said this before on a previous episode, but the fact that the second season ends with Mandalorian and Grogu separated.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great emotional moment. And then they decide to reunite them, not even in season 3 of the show, but in between in the Boba Fett show.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, this is proof you guys don't know what you're doing, because there's your story for the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, totally. And that would have so much more emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grogu's been kidnapped from the Jedi school or something, and then Mandalorian has to rescue him. Whatever. I don't know.
That would have been a good movie.
There's, you're right. It's very odd, Well,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say so I took my older two, 19 and 17,
mm-hmm.
and my 19-year-old was like, nah, and my 17-year-old didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And these are I've been watching Star Wars movies with them since Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
So going on that journey. But my 12-year-old, he's like, oh, I want to go see it. So I do want to take him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd like to see what he thinks of it.
Totally.
Because I think that's important too. It's like, well, it's going to mean different things based on the age that you're at.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly, yeah, for me, I was, admittedly, I did not have my coffee yesterday before going. So I did feel my eyes getting heavy.
Zaki, so did I. Okay. Actually, there was a moment where I closed my eyes because I was getting so tired. And I actually even thought I won't miss what's happening. I did think that. And then I thought, no, if I've got to talk about this, like I owe it to people who are actually giving their time to
I should watch Rada the Hutt flexing.
Which, by the way, what an interesting idea.
He was the most interesting character in the movie, in my opinion.
Completely agree. Yeah. But he feels like that sort of middle to backgrounded character in a Law and Order episode where you're really just sticking in the perspective of the cop, you know what I mean? Who's in every single episode. And he just meets an interesting guy, but it's really more about the cop, right? Trying to get to the bottom of everything. But I was like, the whole idea, I feel like you could even take this story that they had and redo it a little bit to make it a more rounded out feeling movie event. Jabba the Hutt's son doesn't want to be seen, like, or thought of the way that people think of his father. So he wants to become his own person, and he's going to do this thing, but he's mixed up in something that is more dangerous than he realizes. And that's interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's all kind of, I don't know, felt slightly in the background or something versus being what the movie is actually about. I mean, I know that's not exactly true, but somehow the way that it was all framed and following this protagonist, like we were saying, who has no face and doesn't emote and doesn't seem to have any skin in this game, really, except for making some bucks. Like, it's just hard to get invested in all of this.
Yeah, well, the movie alludes to a little bit where he's like, I don't work for gangsters anymore.
Yeah.
He's working with the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's get into that a little bit.
Totally.
Right? Like, again, just fundamentally to me, all of this can be solved by not making him, locked under that helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any reason that to me, this is just like the difference between watching a show and a movie, because I didn't even like it in the show when he always had the helmet on. In a movie, we should have been way past that. We should be watching Pedro Pascal. He's got an interesting face. He's got an emotive face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember when he says goodbye to Grogu in the second season?
I do. Yeah.
I can picture that right now,
Mm-hmm.
Let us see his face.
Yeah. Or even, if you do want to keep that conceit, and I can understand that some people might be yelling back at us like, but that's the Mandalorian way. And like,
it's a dumb way.
Well, I'll actually say, I get it, but you've got to find interesting ways to play with it. They should do like RDJ Iron Man, right? Like, that's interesting. Well, I was going to say, or even it makes me think of in season 1, where they make such a big deal, and we understand that Mandalorians don't take their helmets off, but he is willing to disgrace himself,
right,
by taking his helmet off, because that's what he has to do. It's like him denying his religion or something,
right?
But he's willing to do that in order to get Grogu back. And that's the moment I remember out of all the seasons. I thought that was so powerful and heartfelt and amazing. And after spending all these episodes with this stoic character, seeing him willing to do that to himself because he's so passionate about this kid, where it seemed unlikely that he would have this relationship with this little kid, is amazing. But there's nothing in this movie that even approaches that level of emotion. And I was like, well, that's a problem. I mean, a movie's got to be something that's worth leaving your house for. It's like, this couldn't be contained on a streaming service. You need to leave your house and pay $20 to go see this. That's how big this story is. That's how much bigger this story is. And this didn't even come close to being that. And it's funny because I know we're being kind of hard on it, and we're like raising our voices and stuff. And I think that's because we care so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to feel let down by something that I went in with kind of low expectations, admittedly, but it made me so disappointed that they didn't even like meet those expectations. Like, I just felt so let down by this, and it makes me sad, and it's not even, I think you said at the beginning, it's not even necessarily a bad movie.
Right.
It's just really underwhelming and not at all what it should have been if this is going to be their big, hey, we're back in theaters.
I mean, it isn't that. It really does feel like a placeholder, which if you're not like under the gun legally to get something out like this, it's like we were talking about Lord of the Rings, a couple of years ago, they put out that animated movie.
Yes.
War of the Rohirrim.
Mm-hmm.
And that was freaking rough, man. But that was like what I described that movie as when I reviewed it. I was like, it's like running on a treadmill for 2 hours. Like, you got your steps in, but you haven't gotten anywhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
A little similar vibe here, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Where it's like, well, we've been through all this, and it's certainly been loud, and there's certainly been a lot of explosions and things, but I don't feel like there's been any progression in the universe. And by the way, I'm not saying I need like Death Star level stakes. In fact, I would say not that, please, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want emotional progression.
Yes.
I want my guy to be at a different place at the end than he is at the beginning, and I don't get that sense at all.
Completely agree. And I think that is the major problem with this movie.
Yeah.
Just what you said.
So pressure's on for Starfighter. I guess that's what this all means.
But I just get the feeling that that's going to be a little bit more in the arena that we expect.
You know what? I'm not going to have any expectations because that's what gets you into trouble.
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering why they felt the need to do this.
I think it really comes down to them saying, well, this is the safest bet.
Yeah, but why?
Right.
If they have one coming out next year, like why even do this? This feels like they had like a shareholders call and they had to be like, we've got a Star Wars movie coming or something.
You got like some guy sitting at the head of the table with a stogie. Well, everybody likes this Mandalorian.
Yeah.
This melatonin man.
Right.
Let's give the kids give those rubes some more of that.
Right. Well, yeah, no, please.
No, I think that it frustrates me because as I said, I think it is a well-directed film in that all the action sequences and things are well staged. And I mean, Favreau's just very good at this.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm just like, I'm like picking apart. Well, like where did this go wrong at a conceptual level? Did it go wrong at an execution level? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to note some of the things that I did enjoy though.
Well, one thing I'll say before the Mandalorian theme is a freaking banger, man.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Right. And so we have our little opening action sequence, which is cool as we described. And then we hear, and I was like, okay, here we go. I was excited.
Yeah, me too.
And I mean, it is just a great piece of Star Wars music. That's all.
No, I agree. I think it's iconic, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you hear it, it's distinctive. You immediately, it captures the vibe so well. It's great.
Oh, by the way, I hope Ridley Scott gets a royalty check every time somebody pays homage to Blade Runner.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Dude, I literally, okay, but that is.
And I liked that sequence, just to be clear. I'm not making fun of it. I think it's very well executed. I'm like, man, it's like so clearly a Blade Runner homage.
Okay, yes. You just said everything I was feeling, which is when it happened, I was, a big complaint we bring up a lot, especially with some of these Star Wars shows and other streaming shows, is just leaning too hard on the volume. So it never feels like anybody's actually anywhere, and I think I was hoping that wouldn't be the case with this movie. And I thought this movie did a very good job of creating at least what felt in most cases like real environments that they were walking through. And that sort of Blade Runner cityscape in particular, I thought felt like a real big expansive location. And I did immediately clock like, oh, he's literally stepped into the set of Blade Runner, but this is great. Like this feels like a real place. This feels like, his real splashes from puddles on the ground. And I really loved all that and all the neon billboards and things like that. So yeah, anyway, that was one of my things that I did like a lot.
I also like that Martin Scorsese is just here. And for all of his like cinema, it's like he just plays a weird monkey guy on Star Wars.
I didn't even think about that, the whole cinema thing. But he's playing the same species that Jon Favreau played in Solo, right? Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, he's funny as this sort of nervous little informant.
Yeah, it's very very Scorsese.
Honestly, I think the thing this movie does best is its action sequences, as repetitive, unfortunately, as they get. It is cool, like seeing him in that opening sequence when the camera goes through through a corridor into the base of an AT-AT, and then Mando enters, takes out all the guys, and then follows him back into the piloting area. I was like, that was very cool. That was very well done. And he uses his blaster. He uses his little rope thing. He uses his flamethrower. I thought that stuff was a lot of fun. Yeah. And what it also does really well is the adorable puppets.
Right.
Like, I mean, the Babu Frick characters.
Although I gotta say, a little goes a long way with the Babu Frick people, whatever they're called.
I understand that, but I think for me, they were making me light up anytime they appeared, just because it was like bringing me out of just sort of sameness.
That's fair. Yeah.
And like when they just, I actually never got tired.
A lot of puppets in general, though. Yeah, I mean, not just them, but
they're clumsy looking, and I was like, that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
like
I agree with that.
And when there's this static shot, I think they're walking through a pipe, and one of them's like, "Big pipe." That's probably the hardest I laughed in the movie.
I think to your point about like the action scenes, or like when we see Mandalorian just like beating the living shit out of people in a room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you watch it, you're like, "God, he's such a badass," right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like this is the dilemma, right? Like I'll give you an example. Just last week or 2 weeks ago on Disney Plus, they dropped a Punisher special.
Yes,
with John Bernthal, and there is something comparable. Did you watch that by any chance?
No.
So there's a sequence in that special. It's like a 45-minute thing. So basically, this mob wife who the Punisher killed her whole family. She basically finds out where the Punisher is. He's in like this apartment complex, and she sends out his location and puts a bounty on his head. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like whatever 15 minutes of just people coming at him like video game characters, and he's just, they're advancing on him with fire axes and lead pipes and baseball bats and AKs, and he's just, I mean, it's like the Raid,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right? And you're like, man, what a badass, right? But what the special does that I think is necessary is it frames this sequence with, I mean, it basically bookends it with his angst over all the killing he's done and how he misses his family and he's contemplating ending his life. And there's sort of an emotional framework, right? And I've noted this in my review, I have qualms with how well those two elements merge together, but I understand the instinct because it's boring if you just have an unbeatable badass just mowing through people.
Right.
And so I was thinking about that while I was watching The Mandalorian, light people on fire and then, do this. And I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's just, it's like we see that and then we see a version of that 15 minutes later and then another version of that 10 minutes later. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no pattern interruption. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and there's no stakes. I keep saying it, but and we don't, his goal doesn't feel dire.
That's right.
And what does he need? What does he want? Like there's none of it. So it's just it's like a video game. I think like you said, it's just going through the levels and mashing buttons and I will say, what's funny, by the way, as you were talking, it made me think. There's a moment, I won't spoil exactly what it is because we haven't gotten to spoilers. I don't know that we need to. I've seen a lot of people joking online, like, I don't know how to spoil this movie. There are no spoilers. But the Jeb character, there's a moment where he's in a speeder.
Yeah.
With Mandalorian and like.
And it's Zeb, goddammit. Put some respect on his first letter.
Well, there you go. Apologies. Zeb. And something's happening. It's kind of funny, right? And Grogu's in a vehicle ahead of them and trying to help.
Right.
And so anyway, but Zeb is just kind of commenting on what's happening. And it made me realize he has as much depth as a character in a theme park ride who's helping you through the ride. Well, looks like you missed us. Oh, hey, I hope we can we better get on that ship. Like that's about as deep as that character is.
Wow, that's hilarious. That's really funny.
You know what else I did kind of appreciate on just the minutia of the movie? Some of the vehicles, the way that they move, I don't know if they're actually stop motion, but they are at least animated to look like they are stop motion. There's a jitteriness to them, sort of like Ed 209 looking kind of thing.
That's interesting.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine that's Favreau.
You're talking about like the intro sequence.
Those like little chicken walker things. And I feel like there was a creature somewhere later also, not the ones in the arena, but some other creature that moved a little jittery, like a stop motion thing. And I was like, I like it. It reminds me of the tactility from, the earlier films.
Yeah. I think this movie sort of hints at more broadly what's going on in the galaxy post Return of the Jedi. And I think I would have liked, kind of the Mandalorian being used as an on-ramp into giving the audience a better sense of sort of the lay of things.
Totally. That is a really fascinating moment.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars history. And I would I want to dig into that.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like, well, there's this 30-year window between Jedi and The Force Awakens. So we know things are going to head down a bad path again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, maybe this isn't the vehicle to do that, but I am like, we can sort of use this canvas as a way to hint at some of the political strife or whatever in a more fleshed out sense, because what we see here isn't all that different from what we've gotten in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because the folks making Star Wars right now don't really know how to get from Jedi to Force Awakens. There's also that.
Or it hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to
They don't know yet. They don't know yet what that roadmap is.
Yep.
Which I would say might have been something to figure out 11 years ago or so. But that's just me. Well, I'm just talking.
Right.
That's just crazy talk from me. What do I know?
Right.
I'm just a guy on a microphone. Yeah. Anyway,
speaking of Filoni, we see him in the movie. He gets.
I'm gonna say
a couple of cameos.
I was gonna say, okay. So first of all, I like Dave Filoni. I think his creative instincts are good overall, and I'm excited to see what he does with Star Wars. I would say in this movie, one cameo would have been fine.
Right.
Not a deal breaker for me at all.
Right.
Big picture, but I am like, once is fine. Two seems indulgent to me.
I don't disagree.
I would say either you wear the cowboy hat or you wear the X-Wing helmet. You can't do both.
Right. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. I mean, it obviously stands out.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Sigourney Weaver. I thought she was fine.
She fits right in. I wish she had more to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I got to say, I was very...
I didn't mind seeing her as like a bureaucrat or an X-Wing pilot, which that just tells you, right? That tells you Sigourney Weaver. That's just how she is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And when I saw that Jeremy Allen White was going to play a Hutt,
yes,
I was like, what is that like? And
he was good.
I thought he did a really good job.
He was good. I enjoyed him.
Kind of like tortured jock.
Yeah, he brought surprising pathos to that performance.
I agree.
So now, is he speaking English or whatever, the interlac, whatever the language they speak in Star Wars, or is he speaking Hutt and we're just hearing English? Or like, why am I asking?
No. I mean, we just talked about this, didn't we? About John McTiernan and how it's kind of funny that he has multiple movies.
Yeah,
where they do that transition from one language into English for English speaking audiences.
Yeah, I sent you the clip from 13th Warrior, right?
Yes, which is
Wasn't
very
that
good.
Cool.
Oh, it's amazing because it's not just like a quick transition. You're watching someone slowly learn English over time.
Yeah,
and seeing the English words start to trickle in amongst the language he doesn't understand, and it's brilliant.
Really well done. Yeah.
But in this one,
this does nothing like that. Just to be
no. Well, it's funny because you see the Hutt twins.
Yes,
and they're speaking Huttese.
That's right.
And then one of them just starts speaking English. And so that's what I thought. I was like, oh, are they doing that McTiernan sort of transition?
Right.
But then I don't know. Unclear. I mean, I don't care. At the end of the day, I saw some people upset about it online. I was like, at the end of the day, I guess I don't really care. But
well, Yoala Wonga.
Oh, he says that in the movie.
I know. It made me happy. I know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, there we go. The Mandalorian and Grogu.
All right. Well, you want to know something?
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. And I'll give like a little Brian personal anecdote here. I have to watch this movie 3 times in one weekend. I
asked you. I said before. No, I. So I had already watched this because I spoke to you on the phone. And you were like, yeah, I'm going in a little bit. And then I'm going tomorrow with so-and-so. And I'm going on Sunday with so-and-so. And I was like, oh, so you sure you want to see this 3 times?
No, and thank you. Thank you. You have always looked out for my personal well-being. I wanted to just, our schedule has been very difficult in the past couple months, just with work and life and whatever. And we're getting back to something a little bit more scheduled. And I was happy about that. And so I thought, oh, there's an opportunity to see it this night. We can put this out in a timely way so people can watch the movie this weekend and listen to us right away. And I was excited about that. And now there are two other people who I very much want to see this movie with, but we couldn't all do it together. And it has worked out that I'm going to be seeing this movie 3 times now. And I am a little curious how it's going to play. If I will
modulating expectations going into viewing 2.
Exactly that. I'm looking forward to not being as tired tomorrow. I think
have some coffee beforehand. There's the takeaway.
Definitely. And I am wondering, yes, if I will get on its wavelength a little more. I don't think it's going to change how I feel about its lack of, emotions and stakes and all that sort of thing. But maybe I can just enjoy it as a, 2-hour supercut of a season of TV.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'll check back. But I was like, oh man, I can't believe.
I got 4 more hours of this in my future. Well, hey, in our next regular show, we'll be talking about Masters of the Universe. So
I am so excited, and I don't want to get my hopes up, but it seems like early reactions are pretty positive, so that makes me happy.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at what people are saying, so at this point,
Well, then I don't want to spoil it.
But you don't want to tarnish my perceptions.
Yes, so I'm not. I was going to say a little. I won't say anything. We'll go in and we'll have our opinions.
I'm hoping we have a good discussion, if nothing else.
Definitely.
But hey, if you've seen The Mandalorian and Grogu, email us your thoughts. You can send those to us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. You can also post your comments on YouTube. And by the way, if you're listening to the show on YouTube, please hit like and hit subscribe. That stuff does matter. And we do read the comments on the show. We also have a Patreon page, Brian.
Yes, if you head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and hit subscribe for only $5 a month, you'll find every commentary we've ever done, every episode moving forward, absolutely ad-free. You'll also find bonus conversations that we drop over there about twice a month, including the one we mentioned earlier, where, for like an hour, we were riffing on so many things. Masters of the Universe, the movie Swordfish, popcorn buckets at movie theaters. It was a really fun time. And we think everybody will enjoy those. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show. So without any ads or interruptions butting into the conversation. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing this show. So if you're interested and able, please head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
There we go. And if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Zaki's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also read my reviews at the San Francisco Chronicle and the Wrap. This week, Spider Noir is at the Chronicle. Jack Ryan Ghost War is at the Wrap. And got some more fun stuff coming up soon. What about you, Brian?
You can find episodes I've written of Puppy Dog Pals and Young Jedi Adventures streaming on Disney+.
Here we go. And with that, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 343. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.